teach her. I'm supposed to teach. If she wants to learn anything, she should be learning from me. Go to Colossians real quick. I'm just using an example. Is it Colossians? No, 1 Corinthians 14, verse 33. 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 33. So I did not know this. I did not know that I'm the one she's supposed to learn from. But when I got into Christianity, the very first thing it told me, that, and what they were addressing was control. Don't control your wife, because controlling your wife is domestic abuse. Now, I didn't know it was domestic abuse. No one told me that. You could just tell that having too much control was not a good thing. I even heard pastors saying that men are not ready to have that type of control because historically speaking, men are abusive. Anyway, so read.
For Yah is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all churches of the saints.
And that's why you know Christianity is not of Yah, because when you look at Christianity, it's chaotic. There's confusion. And that's how it explained why I experienced so much confusion dealing with the Christian church. There's too much. But since I've been on Straightway Truth Ministry with Pastor Dow, there's so much peace. Can you relate to that, Deacon? Or is it just me?
Oh, yeah. That's a comment.
And now I understand why there's peace, because there's order. We got the law that guides us into all truth. We got the law that's a lamp unto our feet. We got the Holy Spirit that's guiding us to all truth. Read.
Let your women keep silence in the churches, for it is not permitted unto them to speak, but they are commanded to be under obedience, as also saith the law. And if they will learn anything, let them ask their husbands at home.
At home. See, the woman, in Christianity, that's a no. No, don't put that on the man. That's too much power for the man. I know I've read this, but how come it never stood out? Because they did not promote this. They did not promote that the woman should learn from her husband. That was a no. I'm telling you, I heard that directly. It wasn't insinuated. I was told, don't you focus on your relationship with God and let her focus on her. Matter of fact, we have TD Jakes saying that. Remember, I think I did a video showing where TD Jakes said that.
Yeah. It's not your job.
Not your job.
Oh.
Yeah. And so you think like, okay, the pastor says not your job. Then obviously I want to be an obedient, a member of the church. If this is what they say, okay, then she can go watch her Joel Osteen and watch what, Martha Stewart, not Martha Stewart. Who's the one that looked like the Joker? Who's that girl that looked like
Joyce Meyer?
Joyce Myers. She looked like the Joker. I'm not.
She's a joke.
Yeah, she's a joke. But anyway, and that's what I thought. And so I did my own study. So I was growing, but she wasn't growing. And I couldn't pour into her, but for sure I was pouring into my children because I knew that, okay, clearly they can't teach themselves. That's my job. That's my job, right? And so no one messed with me with that. But when it came to her, but the teacher is the frontline teachers. The woman is the frontline teacher. Read. And if they learn, is that it?
For it is a shame for a woman to speak in the church.
See, this is a shame. See, this woman that sent this email is shameful because what she did is not even valid. I can't take the testimony of just one woman to the woman. Where's the second witness? The second witness is going to be her husband. And then in this case, you say there's other women involved. So then bring them. What are they saying? So I'm doing the video because of this. So, hey, sue me if you say this is abusive, but I think that you are in the situation you're in because you are rebellious and you're practicing witchcraft. This is very shameful what you've done. So if you want to learn anything, I hope you see this video. And whoever wrote this, I won't say their name, but whoever wrote this is very shameful. And there's a good chance you're doing the abuse. You're the problem.
Yeah, there's a lot of projection in that.
Yeah, you project, everything comes in, and you're telling what everybody's telling you, and you're going to the Muslims' marriage counseling, and they're telling you the same thing. If you really are not unhappy, then do what it says in 1 Corinthians, chapter 7. Leave, but don't marry. Just leave or be reconciled back to your husband. But sitting here doing this is not you. You're not operating in faith. You're not trusting the Most High Yah. You're not acting like the daughter of Sarah. Is that it?
That's it. Yep.
All right. So, but that's how it is. So when I picked the church, A, B, and C, it ended up going off of what she felt. She said, "Oh," she would say, "Good job, Kabir. Good job. I can understand this pastor." And it just happened to be a church that was not biblical. It was more feelings, very charismatic, I guess. After being with Straightway, I don't know how to describe stuff anymore in my past. But you would say the church was more, because the other church I was interested in, it was more biblically sound, I thought. And I can't say that anymore.
Hyper charismatic.
Yeah. But then you go to this church, it was really moving in the spirit, speaking in tongues, and every week somebody had a word from the Most High Yah.
Lights and
from God, and it'd be women talking, it'd be everybody talking. God said, and I always knew it. This is how you knew it was so fake. Now that I think about it, it was always about love and this. And then I remember having something that I felt that the Spirit wanted me to say. But being in this church for 2 or 3 years, I didn't say it because it was so counterculture to the church. And it was a rebuke. It was a rebuke on things that I knew that the pastor didn't stand for, that the church didn't stand for. And I held back. Because at that time I didn't really, I'm thinking like, maybe it's me, because, I was already being oppressed, saying that, well, you just going back to your legalistic ways, your Muslim ways. And so I held back. I remember, I don't know, maybe I just feel like I needed to say something. I'm talking about for the whole assembly. It was that moment. And I didn't say nothing because it didn't fit. It would have been it would have gone against the pastor. It would have gone against the elders. It was literally going to go against everything. I mean, it would be like, they may have escorted me out. And at that time, I'm thinking, yeah. So I doubted. I doubted, like, is this me? Is this Yah? Like, but then now that the way I think now concretely, because they have you all messed up thinking abstractly, I should have known, why was Satan put this thought in my mind to say this to the congregation? This need to be said. And I seen a woman who actually spoke truth, an older woman. Her husband was the founder of that church, Living Hope Church. And before she died, she went up to the music pastor, the pastor of the worship. He's a pastor. I don't know how that is, but anyway, worship leader. He was the worship leader. And she went up there and spoke and says, "Your service is no longer needed." And she told this man, because all the elders, for some reason, this was towards the end, when I finally left the church, all the elders left, everybody left. It was right towards the end, and she got the mic. Somebody actually walked her up. She was walking, very old lady. And this is the founder. Her husband was the founder of this church. He's passed away. And she comes up and says, "Your service is no longer needed." The pastor, the worship leader, dropped the mic and walked off the stage like a big baby. And I know why, because the woman he's with, he got her through committing adultery. Literally, they had an affair. They ended up marrying each other. And then the child they had out of that ended up being very deformed, in a wheelchair, grew with some type of disease. And people knew this. And she came up and says, "Your service is no longer needed." And she turned around to the congregation and started prophesying the word to the people. And this is the wife of the founder of that church. So she had a lot of respect. And she rebuked. I remember being in the back. I was in the back, pissed off about this whole thing with me and my wife, with head coverings and things of that nature. I mean, in some other room. And because none of the leaders was there to stop it or turn off the mic, she sat there and said what she needed to say. And eventually they got her out and they walked her out. The very next week they came in there and they said, "Hey, we affirm our worship leader, pastor. We affirm him." And then they had to kind of walk a fine line and say that basically she was senile. That's what they really proud of, that she's senile, she's getting old, and so somehow it's kind of like they didn't want to like destroy her because of her standing in the church. And then the guy, they said, "We affirm him," and everybody, I said, wow. So they came in and reinstated this guy that was told that his service no longer needed. But when it came to me and my family, I said, who's there to reinstate me? Because you guys came in here and interfered in my situation. No one came in and reinstate me. Say, guys, we affirm Kabir. He's the father of this house. He's the head of this house. We affirm and we support him. Anyway, I just want to share that. But that woman did what she said. My spirit confirmed what she said. I just didn't know at the time. I just wasn't strong enough. I just didn't know. I'm just like, what's going on? But I had it in my mouth and I kept it back because it would have been strange at that church. It would have been very, not strange that straight way, but it would have been very strange. Now I know why it would be strange. But anyway, I just want to share that. But women, so when you look at Christianity, how they deal with women is the head. That's why you can tell Christianity is a matriarch. Everything is revolved around the woman. When you come into the truth, like a Straightway Truth Women's Ministry, because I can't speak that for all the other Hebrew Israelites, because some of the places we see it look like Christianity and it looked like Hebrew, but they're really acting like Christians.